Honourable members, Mr. Speaker.
Prayers.
Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness have appointed the office of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of humanity, beseech you to look upon with your abundant favor the servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important trusts in this land. Let your blessing descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your own glory and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed to their charge.
Amen.
Amen.
Item number 2, communication from the chair.
Colleagues, I welcome you to today's sitting. Happy to see you, Honorable Chivumbi. Today is the acting LOP from the notification I got from the leader of opposition office. Colleagues, on 22nd October 2025, I received with sadness the news of 46 Ugandans who perished in a road accident in Kidiandongo on the Kampala-Guru Highway. On my behalf and on behalf of the Parliament of Uganda, I want to express our sincere condolences to the bereaved families and wish the injured a quick recovery. You know, we have talked about this issue of road safety for a very long period of time. I believe it's an issue we need to again refocus on, especially urging the Ministry for Transport and the Uganda Police Traffic to ensure that indeed there is safety on the road. Otherwise, we can't continue losing these lives the way it is. And on that same spot, I saw immediately, seems in the morning, then another accident occurred on that same spot. So we really need to do something about this, and I hope the executive is following up on these matters. In the same vein, honorable colleagues, I also received the sad news of the passing of the Right Reverend Charles Martin Wamika, Bishop of Jinja Diocese, who passed away on 22nd October 2025. He was a strong pillar of development in Jinja Diocese through the various interventions in the education, health, and poverty reduction that he ran under this diocese. On behalf of Parliament of Uganda and on my own behalf, I also wish to extend our condolences to his family, the Catholics of Jinja, the entire Catholic fraternity, and the people of Uganda at large. I request you, honorable colleagues, that we observe a minute of silence in respect to the deceased.
May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Colleagues, I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Minister of Finance and the executive in general on striking another deal with the World Bank because we have been handling loans, praying so much here for concessional loans. So when I saw those news, and then yesterday I also heard that our currency has been the best performing currency in the region. It's really, when others are facing volatility, it's something we needed to appreciate as a country. I've been to some countries of recent, they are struggling with the dollar. But now here the dollar is struggling. The dollar is struggling against the Uganda shilling. I think they need our advice on how on how to handle these macroeconomic matters. So also, colleagues, during our last sitting on Monday, we talked, Honorable Gafausa raised the issue to do with the suspension of the ED of UNBS. I've been informed that indeed has been reinstated, and that's what I was informed. So I don't need to go much further about that issue. But then, colleagues, I've received complaints from the public. Very many people, all these flock our officers, especially our small industrialists. They've been coming concerning the historical leadership and governance of the institution, issues to do with the historical leadership and governance issues at UNBS that have persisted. Chronic delays and backlog on certification applications, on processing applications for people who want to go on the market. You're hunting people who are producing and selling without certification, but you're not helping those ones who are applying, especially these small ones that are, cottage industries. SMEs are the most affected, not the big boys. Then there is also an issue of also expired certificates, the process, what it takes to process these expired permits, renewal. This has constrained the private sector so much. And then there is also the issue of digital conformity stamp on SMEs and challenges to the delivery of key functions, such as PIVOC for used motor vehicles and local meteorology services, that is weighing scales, water and energy meters, LPG gas cylinders, weigh bridges that continue to expose the public to unfair trade, health and safety issues. There is also an issue whereby you finish paying your taxes, but then the process of UNBS releasing your container is more hectic than the process of even you paying taxes. So now you ask yourself, and of course, this ends up resulting into damage. So I want to assign the Committee on Trade, Tourism and Industry to study these issues, engage the minister, engage the board, engage the leadership at UNBS, and report back to us within 2 weeks, so that as we go into the budgeting process, issues of chronic delays that are affecting the public are handled. Also, I understand there is a system which UNBS had bought, I think, for identifying substandard goods, was around 900 million. But for very many years, it's on the shelf. When government of Uganda paid for money. So we want to see a really honorable minister. What is the problem with UNBS? Why can't it deliver as mandated? Why are we having also a lot of interference for very, very many sectors? How can we support them? How come now finance no longer allow them to spend at source? Because you pay for your certification. Money goes to the consolidated fund. Now you wait up to when finance releases for them to start processing your permit. But you're a trader, you can't know about all this. It's not your problem that there are these inefficiencies along the way. So Committee on Trade, I've guided you on the areas. Clerk extract for them the areas I've guided, and they report back within 2 weeks. I thank you, Honorable colleagues. I'll start with the leader of opposition. On what matters are you standing, Honorable colleagues? You have to state why you are standing up. You are reacting. But I didn't include that on the... Okay, let's move quickly.
Yeah,
I'll allow 3 people.
Right Honorable Speaker, foremost, for a long journey, I understand you're already in the next parliament. The circumstances bother some of us, but nevertheless, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Secondly, why I'm rising up is that with my former president here, he used to tell us a democratic maxima where we say, I hate to hear what you say, but I'll die to ensure that you have a right to say what I hate to hear. I understand this morning one of the most credible media houses, the NTV, which is accredited to cover this parliament, while they were reporting this morning, they were stopped to access this parliament and their accreditation literally cancelled. That's why I quoted that maxima. I understand the circumstances comes from the few coverages they've had, for which may have been discomfortable to some actors in this house, but it's their right. So, Right Honorable Speaker, as we go towards the election, tolerance, press freedom is so critical, and hearing alternative views, no matter how uncomfortable we are with them, they have a right to say so. So, my Right Honorable Speaker, as the head of this institution, I would like to bring that to your attention as why that is going on. It's a national concern. It's out there. It happened this morning. This is the people's house, for which we fundamentally think, no matter the circumstances, the media should access this house. That's my concern, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chivumbi. I'll cross-check with the clerk, but all I know is that we have a process of accreditation, okay? And why we have a process of accreditation, it means you pass through certain stages. And, so we leave that administratively. The speaker, the deputy speaker don't participate in that process of accreditation. I know, in fact, I need to interest myself more in the guidelines, the do's, the don'ts, and all that. So I'll cross-check with the clerk, and I know whether it's true, because it's news to me to begin with. Number 2, if it's true, what could have prompted it? Okay? Then the commissioner does not participate in that process. Honorable Linus.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On the matter of accident, I participated in the evacuation that night because that's my constituency. But the challenge we have as Chiriandongo General Hospital is the overwhelming number of accident victims that we receive all through the year. And us as members of parliament also, we use that road, and then in case an eventuality happens, we are bound into taking ourselves, or the ambulance is taking us to that hospital. So I call upon the Ministry of Health to consider upgrading that hospital to a highway referral hospital to receive accident victims, because if you notice, all throughout the country, Kiriandongo General Hospital receives more accident victims than any other hospital. And also we treat more refugees than any other hospital, yet our budget is thin. Thank you.
Thank you. Wakiso.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also join several Ugandans to send our condolences to the families, those who lost their loved ones in that accident. Mr. Speaker, as we talk about matters of accident, it brings back to the Ministry of Works and Transport its capacity right now vis-a-vis the issues coming up, and it makes us to reflect more on what we would have blamed on to UNRWA those days. But we've talked about matters of black spots in the country, the signages. Last time we had an issue of of the Chigwaga matter, where we had a truck failing out and burning fire, and we are yet to remember our loved ones as Matuga people. But that brings us to the capacity, the signages, those black spot areas, whereby, if need be, as much as they are highways, but there is need for some humps. So I pray that Ministry of Works should come in, map all the black spots in the country, put enough signage, and also it should put good furniture for the country. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Katoto.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Well, some of us, we are talking about road signage, but to me, Right Honorable Speaker, these drivers are reckless. If you see this accident in Chiriandongo, the driver of the bus was too reckless. So there is no way we can say signage or what. I think the government should come up with a policy, maybe a new policy about driving passengers or PSV vehicle drivers. I thank you, Right Honorable.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, on recklessness of these drivers, recently I was nearly crushed by a Sino truck driver. We even stopped and, despite my convoy and right of way, but he came for me, and he hit the car behind me badly, and then he jumped out and ran, and then we even talked to the owners. They are just arrogant because they believe a Sino truck, everyone should get off the road. A Sino truck, for them, if you see it, it means it has no brakes, it has no nothing. These guys of sand, they are going to finish many people on the road. I have passed by Sino truck drivers. Honorable Minister for Transport, Acting Chief Whip Honorable Bahati, kindly please, I request you, bring it out to the Minister for Works. Sino trucks carrying sand, and these ones who carry cattle at night, those people behave as if when you see their car, you know it has no brakes, so you better take off. Yeah, so, yes. Dr. Bwanika.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Right Honorable, on the issue of accidents, the Ministry of Works should examine the possibility of introducing penalty points on driving permits as a means of eliminating unworthy drivers on the road. We have drivers who have a very bad record on their driving permits, but police cannot track because we don't have that policy of penalty points endorsed on someone's driving permit. When we do that, it will go a long way to help us to remove these careless drivers, unwanted drivers on the roads. I so pray.
Thank you, Honorable John Face Magora. Honorable Kamba.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, as we talk about road accidents, it's really a mess, particularly on the eastern route, Right Honorable Speaker. The potholes on the highway between Mukono and Jinja is a mess. They have been there for months. They grow from pothole to drum holes, and now they are ponds. And the mess that's there is really a mess, and I pray that the Ministry of Works look into this. This is the entry point of most of the goods that come to this country, Right Honorable Speaker. And if it cannot be taken as a priority route to ensure that at least minimally remove the potholes, where are we heading, Right Honorable Speaker? I so pray that the Ministry of Health rise to the challenge over this matter. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kamba.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On the issue of accidents, Right Honorable Speaker, there is a growing culture of vehicle owners modifying their vehicles and include floodlights. Right Honorable Speaker, at night, many times you face such vehicles with floodlights. You nearly get off the road, and so many accidents have resulted from that. I pray that Ministry of Works should take up that issue seriously, because the law does not allow modifying a vehicle to put floodlights. And secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, the stretch from Mbale to Uganda, there is no big hospital, and there are quite a number of accidents on that road, especially from Tirinyi up to Busembatia, that stretch. I pray that Ministry of Health should upgrade Namutumba Town Council Health Center 3 to Health Center 4, so that it being on a highway, it should be able to give first aid to accident victims on that road. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Augusto.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, in addition to the accidents caused by sino-trucks, these sino-trucks in the villages, in our constituencies, they have destroyed almost all the smaller bridges. They are too heavy, the bridges are weak, and the arrogance of the drivers. I don't know who owns these sino-trucks, but the Minister of Real Works, like you guided, we need to know, have guidelines. I don't know whether districts are going to come up with bylaws on managing these sino-trucks, because in my constituency we have lost about 5 bridges because of sino-trucks. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Augusto.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, and I want to say congratulations. At least we are sure that in the next parliament our speakers are there. Right Honourable Speaker, still on the issue of the accidents, I want to also remind us that 3 weeks before this accident in Kiriadongo, we had a bad one, actually within my constituency, where we lost staff from Muni University. One was a reverend, and it was also a terrible one. What comes in my mind is these trucks which get spoiled and they stay on the roads for days. I remember we ever talked in this house about the possibility of the police having breakdowns which can remove these vehicles and the owners eventually pay for the breakdown service. I think that also needs to be looked at, because minus that, and particularly at night, we are going to be seeing more accidents as long as particularly the heavy trucks continue to stay on the roads for quite a number of days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Wako, Honourable Taringaya, Honourable Chon. Then Honourable Semuja.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to first congratulate you for having passed through unopposed.
And congratulations too.
Oh, thank you. Now, concerning these accidents, Right Honourable Speaker, we are now entering the festival season. I think government and mostly the Ministry of Transport should take more precautions, because these bus drivers, they drive at very terrific speed, because the more routes they make, the more allowances they will get. And most of them, you find them driving from Kampala to Kanungu. He wants to reach there, come back, and then take another route without sleeping at all. I would propose, at least let it be a policy, that if such buses are going on such longer journeys, let them at least have 2 drivers. When one is driving, another one is sleeping. I would like to propose. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable colleagues, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and lecturers from Hope Institute of Languages and Life Skills, Makinye East, Kampala. They are represented in Parliament by Honourable Nyeko Derek and Honourable Shamim Marende. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Colleagues, also, again in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and warden from Islamic University in Uganda, Mbare City. They are represented by Honorable Wambede Says Kizanga Masa and Honorable Koni Garwango. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Thank you, Honorable Taringaya.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Congratulations on entering the 12th Parliament, you and your colleagues who have gone through unopposed. So you pray for us that we join you very soon. Right Honorable Speaker, every year we budget, and we budget for roads. On top of the budget for the construction of roads, we budget for O&M, operation and maintenance. One of the most important road furniture is marking the road. We know our roads are narrow. They are constructed narrow because we've seen roads when we have traveled outside the country. Now, most of our roads, when they are marked with those separation lines and also on the periphery, at the end of the road marks 20 years without any maintenance, without any renewed marking. So these Sinotracs, which we are condemning, at the end drive in the middle of the road when it is not marked and edge out small vehicles. That is why sometimes when they meet with other big vehicles, the trailers, the buses, the accidents are so catastrophic. So I beg that the Ministry of Works, where does this operation and maintenance budget go that is not applied to mark these roads?
Thank you, Honorable Chon. Honorable Samju.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And first of all, I would like to congratulate you for going through those heavy storms. Honorable Speaker, in this country, Uganda were so blessed, we wouldn't be dying from surviving from those wars. If you look at every day, I think the number of people who are dying is caused by a road accident. Otherwise, other sicknesses, malaria, HIV, nobody fearing. So before you get up in the morning, you have to pray when you enter in the car, either you're coming back or not. So if we would work on that, I think Uganda, we would really be #1 in the world for surviving in other ordinary death. Secondly, roads, harms have no reflection. Even you just see heavy harms. When you reach there, you just keep jumping like you're in Olympic for triple jump. You just get surprised. So these are the things the Ministry of Works and Roads should work on that. And then drivers, you don't learn how to drive on the street. You must go for school driving to do all these tests, both practical and everything. So our drivers, all these people, they learn on the roadside, and then the next morning, he's competing on the map like I'm going to drive as fast as possible to make it to Lira. So you can't just do that like you're going to make it to Lira in 3-4 hours driving a Fuso. So appeal to the government, we should look into this very closely. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Samju.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Please go on, I'm here.
I thought I should address you when your attention is not... Mr. Speaker, first I congratulate you. I had thought that actually you will speak about it in your communication to inform Parliament of colleagues, especially those who are in this Parliament who have gone through unopposed.
Mr. Speaker, I have a request to put to you and the House. There are many things that are going on with the elections. I saw in the media particular machines. The Honorable Minister for Constitutional Affairs spoke about that subject matter once here. Those of us who are participating in these elections don't have a clearer picture of how the polling will happen, which type of technology will be used. My request to you is to ask the minister responsible, the one who speaks for Electoral Commission in this House, to brief Parliament on the preparation. He had at one time said this is going to be the quietest elections in the whole world. But he said that outside the Parliament. So 1 month into this election, can we get the benefit of being briefed, not specifically about that prophecy, but the preparations to comfort us that we'll go through this exercise very well. Not quietly. And then finally, Mr. Speaker, the point the Honorable Acting Rope addressed, I am aware, I worked at Monta before I came here. The Nation Media Group, NTV is just one of them, have been restricted. They can't cover the president. So when the Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi mentions Parliament, I don't know whether this is a deliberate effort to strangle that particular media institution. Can the minister responsible for information tell us if there is a crime that the National Media Group has committed, for all of us and for the country to know? Because when you are stopped from covering the president, now Parliament follows, we don't know whether there will be a declaration to have that media institution closed, especially in this election period. So can we also, Mr. Speaker, be briefed about the situation of the Nation Media Group?
Thank you. On the issue of Nation Media Group, I don't think that's a matter would require the minister to come and brief on which media company candidate chooses to cover them. Okay, because I've been seeing them running. I watch NTV. I've been seeing them covering what. So if a certain candidate doesn't want to be, because there is a difference between a president and a candidate. So,
Speaker, I didn't mean the NRM candidate.
Yeah.
I meant the president.
Well, if it's the president, the minister for the presidency will come here and tell us if we have so much interest in that. Okay? Yeah, but for the presidential candidate, whoever you choose, whom you want to cover you. Honorable Minister, I think it would be important, Minister for Justice, I think we are hearing a lot of speculation in terms of how the election will go, the processes and all that. Don't you think it would be good for us to give you a platform here to update the country and even give guidance? And if, Honorable Minister, and you can tell us the time you think you need to prepare for this.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I undertake to come back with a full brief as requested by the Honorable Member for Kira Municipality, because I need to also be updated by the Electoral Commission. As you know, the Electoral Commission acts independent of the executive. When I get the full briefing, which is up to date, I undertake to come and relay the briefing to the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. Honourable Minister, you can make it a matter of priority. We say around 2 weeks' time. Okay? Take your time, liaise with the Electoral Commission, because you're their political representative here. We can't hold them accountable. It's only you. it is through you that we engage with the Electoral Commission on these matters. Thank you. Honorable Aaron Mayanja, followed by Honorable Seshkubo, and then Honorable Kunyinji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise on a matter of urgent public importance, and that is regarding the people of Chito sub-county in Nakaseke Central, who recently suffered from a destructive hailstorm. Mr. Speaker, hectares of crops were ravaged, livestock and poultry died, banana plantations were put down. Right Honorable Speaker, the Nakaseke District Disaster Committee report was made and submitted to the Office of the Prime Minister. Right Honorable Speaker, I pray that the Office of the Prime Minister intervenes and rescue our people with food, seeds, and iron sheets. I beg to submit. Thank you.
Honorable Minister for Disaster Preparedness.
Right Honorable Speaker, I've taken note and I will coordinate with the District Disaster Committee to get a report and will be able to support the community affected. Thank you.
Honorable Seshkubo. Thank you. Honorable Seshkubo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'd come to your chambers with a view of addressing to you this matter, but since it's a matter of public importance, I was advised to proceed to the floor. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the nominations for parliamentary elections were held on the 22nd and 23rd. Mr. Speaker, like any other candidate, I went for my nominations on the 23rd, on Thursday. But at the entrance, some distance to the nomination center, it was manned by the UPDF, the entrance, and this was none other than Lieutenant Bashir Ziwa, whom I had earlier reported to this house. He attempted to block my passing to the nomination. I think at that point the police was not with him. I went inside and was successfully nominated. As was the case with all members, after interacting with the press, we left back to Rwemiyaga, Mr. Speaker and members. From Sembal, it's about 34 miles down. But along the way, Mr. Speaker and members, this Lieutenant Ziwa pursued us and blocked our continuation to Rwemiyaga, where we had left people waiting to be addressed about our next course of actions. Right Honorable Speaker, Lieutenant Ziwa was with a road full of soldiers, was beating up people in my procession, and 8 were admitted. We called the returning officer assembly, we called the RDC, we called the DPC. And the way it appeared, Mr. Speaker, sir, as I lay the photos, it was terrible in a sense that on the 22nd, the generals got nominated and there were no soldiers. But when Sechikubo came on the 23rd, a civilian, no rank, nothing, Chisati, a backbencher 311, the army was deployed there. And Mr. Speaker, sir, what was making it hard, he drew the gun, drew the bayonet, and took charge of our procession. And Mr. Speaker and members, this was the time provided for under the law for candidates to go and address their people back home. And we did not stop anywhere. We were en route to Remiag. And this impunity, Right Honourable Speaker, we confronted him and he threatened to shoot me. And Mr. Speaker and members, since that Lieutenant Bashir Ziwa shot and killed Fred Sembus at an NRM primaries rally, and the matter has been left there, he has not gone to police to record a statement, neither his gun recovered for ballistics and forensic testing, and even when I've left NRM and I'm standing as independent on an independent ticket, I don't know what he is interested in me, but I want to put it on the floor of Parliament. The way he came looking for me, Mr. Speaker and members, this Lieutenant Ziwa Bashi wants to kill me. And I want to put it here because it has happened. The first time we were attacked, my finger was injured. The bullet hit my finger. And credit be given, from the national perspective, we've seen the army restraining themselves from beating candidates. At least they're using other tactics, but they are not physically assaulting candidates. But in Remiag, it is the reverse. It is as if now Remiag is the opposition of this country, Mr. Speaker. The opposition beating the opposition, we stood here, we condemned it. No, Honorable, I stood myself and condemned that. And I'm on record condemning it. But now, it is as if something strange is happening in Remiag. When General Katirima, General Rashande, and other groups nominated on Tuesday, there was no army. Yes, Right Honourable Speaker. But what happened, Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay, in the picture here is the Lieutenant Ziwa. He's here standing at the entrance, but also in the middle of the convoy, he's beating people. And all the trucks are here, Mr. Speaker, sir. And for the respect, Mr. Speaker, I thank you when you attempted to intervene in this matter. But to see that Ziwa is still not obeying the laws of this country. How many people must die before the law can take its course? Even if you remove my name, but the people of Remiaga deserve better, deserve representation. We are Ugandans. I'm a Ugandan myself. Standing, I'm a Ugandan. I've not been declared a non-Ugandan. I'm a Ugandan. Why am I being harassed? And I know I want to put it on record, government is here. Why does government want to kill me? Because the whole thing is meant to kill me. Can I be told what I've done to this country? Where the recourse? And you remember the president said that he had been told that Sembu Sisiwa, who was shot, was trying to disarm an army man, which was a lie. If the president of this country can depend on lies and falsehoods, then we were in Chirega. But now, Mr. Speaker, we were in a procession, we were moving. 8 of my people were admitted, brutalized, Mr. Speaker, sir. So I beg to draw your attention and the attention of government, save for my colleague who is not aware that processions are allowed to go, From where?
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Sekubo. Minister for Justice. Minister for Justice is responsible for nomination exercise and
the situation, Mr. Speaker, sir, in Rwemiyaga is totally unacceptable. The laws of the country are clear. The UPDF Code of Conduct is something we referred to the last time. So this House is within its rights to roundly condemn any act of impunity by anybody who is carrying arms, wearing our uniform. And it is not my place to start saying the government is powerless to do anything. It is totally unacceptable. This is a contest, and the Constitution is about citizens making a choice. The Honorable Seki Kubo has laid these documents here. We have got the Cabinet Standing Committee on Human Rights. It has very powerful ministers. It has the Minister of Defense, it has the Minister of Internal Affairs, it has the Minister for Security, and the Attorney General also sits there. These are things that undermine our standing as a country. But more importantly, the Honorable Seki Kubo is a sitting member of Parliament. If this can happen, then it can happen to anyone. But in the past, we have found it possible to intervene. We have dealt with the police, for instance, under the Police Standards Unit. But it looks like Rwemiyaga has degenerated to a level of lawlessness. I undertake, Mr. Speaker, sir, to take this evidence, which speaks for itself anyway, and convene a meeting of my colleagues to talk about this abuse of power and abuse of the law, and also raise it with the Chief of Defense Forces. In an army like the UPDF, we cannot let an individual soil the image of the army. Now, concerning the president and the kind of briefings he gets, that we shall also raise with him, because the president gets all sorts of briefings. There was a time some people went and told him that I am funded by President Bashir of Sudan. So for somebody to give that kind of fake information to the president is also worrying, because you cannot be accused of trying to disarm a military officer and then there are no witnesses. These are pieces of information that are easily verifiable. Now, concerning whether he has been called to make a statement or not, Mr. Speaker, allow me later to speak to the Honorable Seki Kubo to get further and better particulars, because this is something that requires urgent action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for that undertaking, Honorable Minister. Honorable Nkonyinji.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, on 10th August 2024, Chitezi landfill collapsed. Sadly, it left many lives lost, property was destroyed, and equally, there was pollution of the environment. When I petitioned the Parliament over the tragedy, this Parliament directed government to regularly report on progress, first of all on decommissioning of the landfill, compensation of the victims, and other measures as a way of intervening and redressing the tragedy. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it is now a year plus a month. Government have not updated Parliament. The victims continue to demand for compensation. And equally the neighbors surrounding the landfill remain concerned, including myself. I'm a resident of Rusanja in Chitezi. I don't know if I'll be claimed by the next collapse. Now that I can see the minister, State Minister for Disaster is present, we demand answers as Chitezi, neighbors, and the victims demand answers on progress of compensation and as well on the commissioning of the landfill. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Let the Minister for KCC report back to the House on Thursday next week. Thank you. Honorable, matters of national importance already covered. Next item. Procedure, Honorable Jonathan.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm rising under Rule 45. Questions to Chairperson. I would like to question the Chairperson of the Committee of Education and Sports of this House. How far he has conducted business regarding the petition by the teachers concerning their salaries. Mr. Speaker, I'm raising this. As I went for nomination, I interacted with a number of teachers, and the information they have is that this house is handling their business. And they were looking for answers from me, which answers I could not. And being a very urgent matter, I thought the presence of the chairperson could update us how far they have processed that petition so that we can inform the teachers of the stand that Parliament has taken.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I also join others to congratulate you to have gone through unopposed. Now back to Honorable Jonah. We have been handling this matter for quite some time. And can I say that we are 3/4 way? And Mr. Speaker, I think I'm disappointed by the Minister of Public Service and the Minister of Finance that we met all other petitioners and stakeholders who have written to them 3 letters. Another meeting is tomorrow. We have actually called them to come and give us their side of the story. But however, I received another call from a PO of a given Minister of Public Service that tomorrow they won't be there. But for us, tomorrow is the day we are concluding the matter. Then we bring this report here. So through somebody acting as Prime Minister, can we have Minister of Finance and Public Service that we conclude this matter, because this matter was brought to the committee sometime, then UNATO again repetitioned, and the Speaker still sent the same petition, which is the same. So we are beginning tomorrow. So our call is for Public Service and Minister of Finance to give us their side of the story, and we report back. I thank you.
Honourable Minister for Public Service, what's the issue?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I also want to join colleagues in congratulating you and other colleagues who went through unopposed. I also want to congratulate other colleagues who were successfully nominated. About the issue of the teachers, tomorrow we are ready with our report, Right Honourable Speaker, and we shall meet the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Acting Government Chief Whip, please coordinate with the finance to ensure they also appear so that the committee is facilitated too. Honourable Chair, the moment they don't appear, please revert back to me as your leader in the House. Next item.
Item 3 on the order paper, laying of papers. 3.1, the political parties and organizations Interparty Organization for Dialogue Regulations 2025.
Honourable Minister for Justice.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay on the table the political parties and organizations, Interparty Organization for Dialogue Regulations 2025, made under Section 28(1) of the Political Parties and Organizations Act, Cap 178. I beg to lay.
Thank you. The resolution is referred to the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs for processing and reporting back. Next. Procedure?
Item 3.2 on the order paper.
Procedure. Procedure.
Mr. Speaker, the procedural issue I am raising, one of the parties that is supposed to be a member of IPOD requested to join. It was stopped. And someone, I don't know under what arrangement, was made a leader of IPOD Secretariat, because we've never seen any advert, told them they must go through a process. So can I, the way procedure, Mr. Speaker, ask, maybe you will help the minister responsible for that area to tell us under which regulations, because these ones have just been brought, so under which regulations was NUP stopped from joining IPOD?
Honourable Minister for Justice.
I wish to state for the record that the National Unity Platform has not been stopped from joining IPOD. As a matter of fact, they have received clear guidance in a formal letter from the IPOD Secretariat, and I believe that at the next summit of the IPOD, they will come and publicly declare their interest and participate fully in the ceremonies substantively that will announce to the country their membership. We are obliged to invite, and they are invited, and they have always been invited. Mr. Speaker, I'm the one who even said I'm willing to kneel before the NUP to join IPOD. Why would anybody stop the NUP from being part of IPOD? And we communicate with the senior officers of IPOD. Right now we are in correspondence with the Secretary General of IPOD. I wish to advise the Honorable Semoju not to base his submissions in Parliament on the opinions expressed by bloggers on TikTok.
Thank you. Honorable Dur, you also had the...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the reading of the powers the minister has to make regulation is worded in a way that the minister, with the approval of Parliament, for him to come and lay a regulation here presupposes that he has made already a regulation. If you look at the law, it is with the approval of Parliament. So what he should be laying here is the draft regulation, and it must be captured on record that he has laid the draft, which is now subject for examination by this Parliament, the committee, and the committee will report. And once Parliament approves, then the minister will now have powers to go and make that. So I thought that clarification must be done. But if the minister confirms that he has laid the regulation, I think he would have violated the powers that we conferred upon him.
Yeah, that's why I refer what he laid here, what the minister laid, to the committee, okay, for processing. Said the committee should process. So meaning they can make alteration, they can bring in new things and all that and reporting back. But I don't know whether Honourable Minister, Honourable first go and sit on the right side of the House. Then you on the right talk.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we stand corrected that this indeed should be considered as a draft. because they cannot be regulations until Parliament has given its approval. We stand corrected.
I think let's have them as proposed regulations. Okay? Yeah. Now, are things okay in Tororo? Because the way you're moving today.
Right, Honorable Speaker, things can be best if this House passes a resolution dividing Tororo and giving us our Toro district. We will celebrate, and I can guarantee all other things you need for the people of Mukuju, people of Mulanda, and there will be celebration, and we will invite you, including Mr. Museveni, the President, to come and officiate. Right, Honorable Speaker, the practice as regards delegated legislation world over, regards statutory instrument, regulations, and the common practice that the minister prepares the regulations or the statutory instrument. The minister lays it on the floor. The practice that if stays for 21 days or given number of sitting, and no member has raised an issue, it becomes, it has effect of law. Now, this new practice, Right Honorable Speaker, where now we are referring the regulation to the committee to report, is a new practice that we need to interrogate our old practice. And when now we introduce that regarding on this regulation, then subsequent regulation or statutory instrument will require all of them to be sent to committee and for it to have effect of the law. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I am seeking your guidance whether are we not reversing the practice that has been there since independence. Yes.
Thank you.
I wanted to give my brother information that every act has its own way of how it is handled. This particular act says that the regulations will be approved by Parliament. Other acts don't even say that. So this particular one, if you can read it properly, it is a provision for it, and it's what Parliament is following. Thank you.
Thank you. No, Kanya, you've grown a mustache. I had not seen you properly. It's the one disturbing you because you have been very. Yes, Honorable Bahat has just clarified you properly because each law provides on how the regulations are handled. We have laws where the minister is only required to lay on table. We have others where they don't even come here. We have others which need approval of Parliament. And then the Speaker determines on the process of approval. Thank you. Next.
Item 3.2 on the order paper. Government facilities attached to and utilized by His Excellency the President during presidential campaigns.
Honourable Minister for Public Service.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. A statement on government facilities which are attached to and utilized by His Excellency the President during presidential campaigns. The Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable Members of Parliament.
Honourable Minister, you are laying on table. You're not making a statement. Kindly do that.
In accordance with Rule 54 of the Rules of Procedure of the Parliament of Uganda, I wish to lay on table a statement of those government facilities which are attached to and utilized by His Excellency the President during the presidential campaigns. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Honourable colleagues, this is just for information purposes. Please ensure it is put on our platform, and the library for anyone who wants to access should be able to access. Next.
Item 3.3, report to the Auditor General on the financial statements of Economic Policy Research Center for the year ended 30th June 2025.
Honourable Commissioner.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Economic Policy and Research Centre for the year that ended 30th June 2025. I beg to lay.
Thank you. The report is referred to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.4 on the order paper, report of the Auditor General on a value for money audit on the implementation of solar-powered water supply and irrigation systems by Ministry of Water and Environment, April 2025.
Honourable Commissioner.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on value for money audit on the implementation of solar-powered water supply and irrigation systems by Ministry of Water and Environment. I beg to lay.
Thank you. The report is referred to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.5 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on the audit of the financial statements of the Mutundwe Entebbe 132 kV double circuit transmission line project for the year ended 30th June 2024.
Honourable Commissioner.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General of the financial statements of the Mutundwe Entebbe 132 kV double circuit transmission line project for the year that ended June 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you. The report is referred to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.6, report of the Auditor General on the audit of the financial statements of the Mutundwe Entebbe 132 kV double circuit transmission line project for the year ended 30th June 2023.
Honourable Commissioner.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the audit of the financial statements of the Mutundwe Entebbe 132 kV double circuit transmission line project for the year that ended June 2023. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Report referred to Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.7 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on a value for money audit on regulation of secondary education in Uganda by the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Honourable Commissioner.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on value for money audit on the regulation of secondary education in Uganda by the Ministry of Education and Sports. I beg to lay.
Thank you. The report is referred to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.8 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on a value for money audit on scaling and commercialization of research outputs at Makerere, Mbarara, and Busitema Public Universities, December 2025.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the value for money audit on scaling and commercialization of research outputs at Makerere, Mbarara, Busitema Public Universities, December 2025. I beg to lay.
Thank you. The report is referred to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.9 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on the financial statements of cash-in, privately managed cash transfers in Africa project in Makerere University for the period ended 31st December 2024.
Honourable Commissioner.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of cash-in, privately managed cash transfers in Africa project in Makerere University for the period that ended 31st December 2024. I beg to lay.
The report is referred to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.10 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on the financial statements of Gulu University vulnerability and climate change and adaptability in conflict-affected regions project for the period 1st June 2023 to 31st December 2024.
Honorable Commissioner.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Gulu University, vulnerability and climate change and adaptability in the conflict-affected regions project for the period 1st June 2023 to 31st December 2024. I beg to lay.
Honorable colleagues, I refer the report to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.11 on the order paper, report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Imagining Gender Futures in Uganda, DFC project number 17-7, AU implemented by Gulu University for the year ended 31st December 2024.
Honorable Commissioner.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Imagining Gender Futures in Uganda project, DFC project number 1707 AU, implemented by Gulu University for the year that ended 31st December 2024. I beg to lay the report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Report referred to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.12 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on the financial statements of institutional capacity strengthening for implementation of the Nagoya Protocol on access to genetic resources and benefit sharing in Uganda for the year ended 31st December 2024.
Honorable Commissioner.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of institutional capacity strengthening for the implementation of Nagoya Protocol on access to genetic resources and benefit sharing in Uganda for the year that ended 31st December 2024. I beg to lay the report.
Thank you. The report is referred to the Public Accounts Committee, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.13 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on the audit of reducing climate change vulnerability of local communities in Uganda through ecosystems-based adaptation in forest and wetland ecosystem project for the year ended December 2024.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, I beg to lay the I beg your pardon. Which one?
Item
Honorable members,
13,
the reports are many.
Item 13.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the audit of reducing climate change vulnerability of local communities in Uganda through ecosystems-based adaptation in forest and wetland ecosystem project for the year that ended December 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Commissioner. The report is referred to the Committee on Public Accounts, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.14 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on the financial statements of Chaco conflict in climate changes, decarbonization, dilemmas project for the period 1st January, 31st December 2024.
Honorable Commissioner.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable members, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of Chaco conflict in the climate changes, decarbonization, dilemmas project for the period 1st January to 31st December 2024. I beg to lay the report.
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. The report is referred to the Public Accounts Committee, Central Government, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.15 on the order paper, report to the Auditor General on the financial statements of the NEMA project of promoting integrated landscape management approach for conservation of the Mount Elgon ecosystem in eastern Uganda, project for the year ended 31st December 2024.
Honorable members and honorable colleagues, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the NEMA project of promoting integrated landscape management approach for conservation of the Mount Elgon ecosystems in Eastern Uganda project for the year that ended 31st December 2024. I beg to lay the report.
Honorable colleague, the report is referred to Public Accounts Committee, COSASE, for consideration and reporting back.
Item 3.16 on the order paper. Verification report on the audit of the Uganda Railways Corporation pension arrears for 129 pensioners.
Honorable Commissioner.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to lay the verification report on the audit of the Uganda Railways Corporation pension arrears for 129 pensioners. I beg to lay.
Honorable colleagues, I refer the report to the Committee on Public Accounts, COSASE, for consideration and reporting back. Sorry, honorable colleagues, I'm consulting with the clerk on a small matter. Yeah. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I got call from the Minister for Finance that Honorable Bahati will stand in to move the motion. That's number one. But number two, honorable colleagues, item 5, item 4 is covered under item 5 because the motion that was moved was 1, which is under item 5. So I need you to take note of that. So I'll call the clerk to call item 5.
Item 5 on the order paper. Motion for a resolution of Parliament authorize government to borrow up to United States dollars 1,341 million from the International Development Association of the World Bank Group and receive grants worth United States dollars 328.3 million to finance the unlisted projects and programs.
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as instructed by you, I beg to move the motion for the resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to 200 million from International Development Association of the World Bank Group to finance the Uganda Strengthened Public Investment and Assets Management for Growth and Resilience Program on behalf of the Minister of Finance and Planning. I beg to move.
Thank you. No, but
as allowed by you.
Honorable, you've stood up substantively, okay? Because you're acting chief whip and also acting minister for finance. Yes, Honorable, what's the matter? Your friend Bahati has done a good job.
Mr. Speaker, I sit on the Committee on Budget. We were summoned by the committee this morning to process a supplementary worth 1.6 trillion. The Minister of Finance was not available. His deputies were not available. So the committee was stuck. So the reason I am raising, Mr. Speaker, the way the Honorable Bahati has been fidgeting, it looks like he has no instruction to deal
So, Honorable Semuju, you want to doubt me?
No, I have no reason to doubt you, Mr. Speaker. But Mr.
Point of order.
Mr. Bat is making you...
Point of order, Honorable Bahati.
Mr. Speaker, the business of the House is very important, and we have guided how this House should conduct its business, and we are the custodian of the rules. We are moving on very well. Is the Honorable Member for Parliament from Kila, in order to disrupt and divert the movement of the business of the House in this manner, when members are very ready to consider these important projects that affect their constituencies, is in order. And I have never, you know how steady I am.
No, I just wanted to know, were you fidgeting? I thought you were going to address that issue.
In fact, it is him who is fidgeting what to say about the matter.
No, colleague, just let's proceed. I know because the Minister of Finance, there is some critical issue they were handling, and they reached out to me yesterday evening, and I told them, no, we have to proceed with these matters because they appeared before the committee and processed everything. So that's when they said Honorable Bahati should stand in. And Honorable Bahati has never fidgeted. Thank you. Yes,
my only complaint was for him to state publicly that he was now acting on instruction of the Speaker. He owes this Parliament an apology. You are here deployed by government, by your appointing authority. When the Speaker helps you, you then don't load it on the Speaker that you are working on his instructions. Can he apologize to the House, Mr. Speaker?
Now, honorable colleagues, where do I get people who protect me? Today, Semuju has. Honorable Semuju. So I want to thank you, Honorable Semuju, for frauding. All that had been put on me. But just easy, very easy.
Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Finance is one of the ministries that is most staffed. I've been consulting here. It has nearly 5 state ministers. It has Honorable Gorobi, Honorable Kasolo, Honorable Bahati, Honorable Anite, quite a number of them. Musasizi. Now, a ministry with 5 state ministers, all of them on a critical matter of solicit, and their core mandate is to solicit, to mobilize resources to implement the budget, and none of them is here.
Thank you. Now, Honorable, by the time I allowed, I considered all that. And part of the work they are doing, they are soliciting for money to implement the budget, which we've already passed. Let's move, Honorable colleagues. You know, I want to set you free, you go to your campaign. Please. So, I want to sort out the items we have. Then, yeah. So, Honorable Chair, because it's straightforward, it's already processed. I don't know if you wanted to add on anything, Honorable. Oh, but I wanted to know if it is seconded, the motion. Honorable Semuju, at least you should stand by your colleague, Bahati. Seconded by Honorable Semuju, Honorable Ngito, Lamo, Honorable Mapenduzi's constituency usually disturbs me on the name. But yes. Honorable Kabe, Honorable Remricha, Oroni, Gomba, Paparu, Sowed, Honorable colleagues, many of you, Honorable colleagues, the ministers, all ministers, Radian, Ramirama, Mugisa, my senior from a PPS, defense, veterans, all of you. Please, Honorable Minister, do you want to add anything, or the report is done and you just need the chairman to present? Please feel free.
Just to mention, Mr. Speaker, that this program will address and support the Northern Uganda Social Action Fund, the Development Response to Displacement Impacts Project, Uganda Learning Acceleration Program, the most important of these, Uganda Cities and Municipalities Infrastructure Development, Uganda Strengthening Public Investment and Assets Management for Growth and Resilience Program. And as you said, the chairperson and the committee has considered this loan, and with your permission, they will be ready to report to the House.
Yeah. Chair, you have 10 minutes. Got the salient issues.
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, allow me join the rest of members who have thanked you for coming up unopposed. I really want to congratulate you. Right Honourable Speaker, before I read the report of the Committee on National Economy on the proposal of government to borrow up to US dollars 1,341 million from the International Development Fund, International Development Association of the World Bank Group, and receive a grant worth US dollars 328.3 million to finance the underlisted projects and program. Together with the minutes, I beg to lay. Right Honourable Speaker, you may recall that last week a proposal to borrow up to 1,341 million US dollars from the International Development Association of the World Bank and receive a grant of 328.3 million to finance the NUSAF 4 projects, Dr. Deep, the ULAN project, the Uganda Cities and Municipality Infrastructure Development Program, which meet and PIM Plus, that is the Uganda Strengthening Public Investment and Assets Management for Growth and Resilience Program, PIM Plus. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee held meetings with the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Ministry of Education and Sports, OPM, the Ministry of Lands and Urban Development, and the Ministry and the section of the ministry that is handling the PIM Plus program. We reviewed a number of documents in relation to Uganda, a number of documents, that is the minister's brief, the negotiated draft loan agreements for Northern Uganda, for NUSAF 4, Dr. Deep, ULAN, and then PIM Plus. But the committee did not have an opportunity to review the documents for the draft financing agreement for WICHMID, since WICHMID is still under concept review by the World Bank. Right Honourable Speaker, the Committee on National Economy undertook its role on compliance of documents submitted to the committee in line with Rule 162 of our Rules of Procedure. The committee received documents, nearly all documents, for all the programs targeting NUSAF 4, Dr. Deep, ULAN, for WICHMID. A number of documents were missing since this project is still under review by the World Bank. It was last updated on the 12th of October this year. The rest of the programs had all the documents presented to the committee and enabled the committee to proceed with the scrutiny of the project. In terms of alignment with the country's strategy, Right Honourable Speaker, the proposed projects and programs are aligned to the 4th National Development Plan and specifically contributes to the following NDP 4 objectives, that is sustainably increasing production, productivity, and value addition in agriculture, minerals, oil and gas, tourism, ICT, and financial services. Enhancing human capital development along the entire life cycle, supporting the private sector to drive growth and create jobs. 4, build and maintain the strategic sustainable infrastructure in transport, housing, energy, water, industry, and ICT, strengthening good governance, security, and the role of the state in development. The project and program descriptions under the Northern Uganda program. The overview of the project is that, Right Honorable Speaker, NUSAF has been implemented in 3 phases to date, with the OPM being the lead implementing agency. The first NUSAF project was implemented with the IDA support from February 2003 up to March 2029. NUSAF 2 was implemented in from September 2009 up to 2009 up to 2016. Right Honorable Speaker, NUSAF 3 project implementation consolidated the achievements of the predecessor NUSAF 1 and NUSAF 2 and contributed to the operationalization of the Uganda Social Protection Policy 2025 under Pillar 1 of the Social Security by providing direct income support to the poor and vulnerable households and individuals. It also contributed to the delivery of government commitment to Vision 2040 and Accountability Sector Strategy Plan, SIP, and enabled Inspector General of Government to foster stack in the government-aided projects. Right Honorable Speaker, the project was implemented in 67 districts in 8 sub-regions in the Greater North, covering Acholi, Lango, West Nile, Bunyoro, Bukedi, Elgon, Teso, and Karamoja between March 2016, 16th of March 2016, when the project became effective, up to 30th of June 2021, when it was closed. It was financed also through IDA credit of $131.8 million. The project development objectives indicators are reported to have been achieved beyond what was planned, as shown in the summary table. Right Honorable Speaker. Under the number of households beneficiaries, 2.9, actually approximately 3,000 households were targeted, but they went beyond the target by about 3,031,069, which was 101% delivery. On the number of families beneficiaries of the 1,198, the target they achieved 1,772, which was 148%, and the rest are in percentages, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the project development objective for NUSAF 4, the project development objective is to support sustainable livelihood, enhance poor and vulnerable households, resilience to shocks, and strengthen adaptive social protection systems in Uganda. The project components are: the project has 5 components as below. Sustainable livelihood, which will take about $137 million. This component comprises of 2 sub-components, and that is the sustainable livelihoods enhancement in rural areas, taking 103, and then the entrepreneurship support in urban and peri-urban areas, taking $34 million. The other component is enhancing resilience and human capital development, which will take about 103.3 million US dollars. The subcomponents under this project are safety net support to build resilience and human capital development, which will take 65.5 million US dollars, and then disaster risk financing for shock response safety, which will take about 38.8 million US dollars. The third component is transformational delivery system, which will take 19 million US dollars. This component has 4 subcomponents: establishing the National Social Registry, which will take 12 million US dollars. The scaling up digital delivery systems, which will take 2 million US dollars. Data-driven planning, monitoring, and evaluation, which will take 3 million US dollars.
Honorable, can you go on recommendation? Yes,
Right Honorable Speaker, as guided, let me go directly to the recommendations. Honorable members, this loan is highly concessional, with all its grant elements above 60% as compared to our threshold, which would have been 35%.
Just go to page 35, Honorable. Page 35.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, the committee observations and recommendations. The status of the proposed loans at the World Bank. Table 15 states the 5 World Bank loans submitted to Parliament for approval. The first project is project number 1 is Wichmid, which will be implemented under Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. The second project is PIM Plus. As you may look at the status of the projects. Right Honorable Speaker, the board approved 540 million US dollars for the amount of the loan is 540. Actually, of this 40 million US dollars is a grant. It was approved. The approval date will be on the 4th of December 2025, and it was last updated on the 12th of October. And according to the World Bank documents, the project is still under concept review. The second project is Uganda Strengthening Public Investment and Assets Management for Growth and Resilience Operation Program, PIM Plus. This one is active. The loan amount approved by World Bank is 200 million, and it was approved on the 3rd of September 2025, and last updated on the 18th of September 2025, and it was approved by the bank. The third loan facility is the one of Dr. Deep. It's active. It was approved on the 4th of June 2025, and last updated on the 18th of September 2025, and it was approved by the bank. The other one, the Liu land, is also active. The World Bank approved 324.8 million, and it was approved on the 4th of June 2025, and updated on the 21st of July 20, and it was approved by the World Bank. NUSAF 4 is active with the 276 million US dollars. It was also approved by the World Bank. Right Honorable Speaker, 4 out of the 5 proposed projects or programs have been approved by the World Bank. Only Wichmid project had only been approved, has not yet been approved by the World Bank, and it is at the last stage, which was updated on the 12th of October 2025, and it was still under concept review. At the time of this reporting, by the time this report was prepared, the last stage for the program was still under concept review, and yet the project is fully to be financed by the World Bank credit and grant, with no counterpart funding from government of Uganda. This implies that the options of a creditor will have, the opinions of the creditor will affect the final terms of the financing agreement. For example, any change in the project amount in the non-refugee hosting districts will change the loan amount in the financing agreements. Since the window for the grant is specific to refugee hosting districts. Further, the committee noted that the submitted documents under WHMID program do not include a draft financing agreement to enable the committee ascertain the terms indicated in the brief to Parliament on the program. By the time the Honorable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development presented to the committee. Article 159 of the Constitution provides for government may borrow from any source, and the terms and conditions of the loan shall be laid before Parliament and shall not come into operation unless they have been approved by resolution of Parliament. In the absence of the financing agreement, we do not know the conditions attached to the agreement, since the minister's brief only lists the terms and does not indicate the conditions associated with the loan agreement for this particular program. The committee recommends the consideration. The committee recommends that the consideration for the WHMID program be deferred to a future date when there will be a financing agreement to support the committee in the scrutiny of the loan. Right Honorable Speaker, the achievements of PIMPLA, achieving the PIMPLA program development objective. The committee noted that while progress has been made by government on selected public finance management and public investment management reform areas, the operation targets cooperatively challenging reform aspects. The committee recommends that in order to enhance public sector efficiency and accountability, government should ensure that this program is not hampered by policy reversals as well as limited resources and capacity. The technical design of the project, the committee noted that the program design for this program encompasses both program for results and an investment project. Financing component and aimed to address numerous challenges in different institutions affecting implementation of public investment. Ensuring coordination of these institutions will be a challenge. The committee recommends the ministry should ensure that this program is well coordinated and monitored across all implementing agencies to ensure the realization of the program development objective. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker, the proposed projects and programs are consistent with our National Development Plan 4, and their proposed loan terms are consistent with the 2023 Public Debt Management Framework and the Medium-Term Debt Strategy 2025-2026. The projects and programs were part of most of the recently debt sustainability analysis. Subject to the above observations, the committee recommends on the motion as follows. Approval for government to borrow up to US $840.5 million from the International Development Association of the World Bank Group and receive a grant worth $288.3 million to finance the underlisted projects and program. $250 million for NUSAF 4, $180.5 million for the development response to displacement impacts project, Dr. Deep, $210 million for Uganda Learning Acceleration Program, ULAN, and 200 million US dollars for Uganda strengthening public investment and assets management for growth and resilience program, PIM+. Consideration for US dollars 500 million from IDA and grant of US dollars 40 million from the refugee hosting window for the Uganda cities and municipalities infrastructure development program did be deferred until the financing agreement is availed to enable Parliament approve the terms and conditions in accordance with Article 159 of the Constitution. I beg to report, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Thank you. Honourable Bahati, would you want to clarify on that issue of the USMID?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Chairperson and members of the committee, and thank you for the report. Mr. Speaker, when we submit a request of Parliament, rather borrowing to Parliament, we also attach the terms and conditions of these loans. And to the best of my knowledge, we did attach the conditions and the terms of the loan of USMID. And honorable colleagues, you know how impactful USMID has been across the country. Building roads in these cities and towns has been very impactful. When you go to Kabar and see what was done, when we go to Guru and see what is being done, you go to Mbale. So this component is just to finalize the remaining municipalities that we want to work on. So I would prefer that and suggest to you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, that this should not be deferred because the Parliament is to approve the terms and conditions of this. So deferring this means deferring actually this good infrastructure which we all need. So I call upon my colleagues to support the position of the minister to borrow this money for USMID instead of deferring it to the future. And also, it is a very concessional loan. World Bank is concessional, and they have terms and conditions. So separating one component and say you have not approved this will actually jeopardize other components of the entire loan. So I propose, Mr. Speaker, that we approve the entire loan because the terms are the same. I thank you.
Honourable Minister, the conditions of the World Bank, are they negotiable? I just wanted that part. Their conditions, are they negotiable from your experience?
From my experience of the last 6 years I was at Ministry of Finance, that once you have agreed with the World Bank on a certain position, it might be very difficult to go back to the board because any adjustment will require us to go to the board again. And therefore, since there is no big diversion of the terms and conditions, because the conditions of the loan that apply to other components are the same as USMID loans. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, and I would like to congratulate you, to join the colleagues in congratulating you. I would, in agreement with the Minister, and I do differ from the view of the Chairperson, because this is coming as one huge facility, a concessional facility, which I do believe is good for us as a country. And
point of order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we are dealing with a threshold of the Constitution. It is the command of the Constitution that once Parliament sits, because we are not borrowing for ourselves, we are borrowing on behalf of people who are existing today and those ones who are coming in the future. So Parliament must be certain. Even as members of Parliament, when we go to borrow, I don't think you borrow without knowing the terms and conditions. So since the Minister is here, is my honourable colleague in order to come and justify the breach of the Constitution in the very house which is supposed to protect the sanctity of the Constitution, and he swore to defend that Constitution. Is he in order?
Thank you. Now, honourable colleagues, here, when we are debating, we give our positions. we've had several occasions here, okay, because what is critical is the resolution we made at the end. But now it will be difficult for me to say, I've judged you, you're in breach of the Constitution. So just let's listen to each other, okay? Now, honorable colleagues, let's just listen to each other.
Thank you, Right Honorable
But
Speaker.
what is important is what we conclude with. And the minister indeed is here, so the minister is going to come up.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My colleague did not wait to hear my conclusion.
Hey, Honorable Masara, please. You see, Honorable colleagues, if I was going by the strict interpretation of our rules here, very few people would speak here. I've just... So we become accommodative, we pick all views, then we filter those views, and then after we seek guidance from sides that are here, and we come to a conclusion. No, don't harass a colleague, let him submit. No, Masaba, please.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Why the argument I was raising is, one, this loan, I believe, was negotiated as a whole. Maybe the minister, Right Honorable Speaker, the minister should furnish us with those terms and agreements. I believe they're the same terms that cut across. Because when you look at this money that is coming under USMID, and many of our people, Right Honorable Speaker, for example, me in Mbale City, we have people who have already been moved. People have given up their land in areas of Moni, Nauyo, and Maluku. Already they have demolished houses to create way and pave way for the expansion and construction of these USMID roads. So each time we push, then this might not happen. If we say that the minister needs to go back and renegotiate, because this means that they have to renegotiate for just this particular project that the committee is allowing. But the loan was negotiated as a whole, not partially, which I believe is good to help our people, because our people are looking at the infrastructure. Our people gave their land, our people moved willingly, and they paved way, because it does not involve compensation of people.
Thank you.
And now if you push them further, Right Honorable Speaker, I think it will give a very bad image to the people who are waiting for these roads to be constructed. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister for Land. Yes, Honorable Minister for Land.
Right Honorable Speaker, I also want to congratulate you and the colleagues having gone through the nominations. Right Honorable Speaker, the terms of the World Bank loans are standard. They are not negotiable per loan as it is. And these terms are carried forward from what was in the USMID. They are not any different. So, the Minister of Finance would not have proceeded to the Development Committee and submit this information to the World Bank unless those terms were agreed initially. This is the procedure. So, the rest is the procedure of the World Bank on the issues of the projects which are going to be taken. What I talk about, the concept here, are the projects which are going to be taken under these loans now, in the various...
Now, Honourable Minister, did you share, for example, these conditions with the committee? You get it?
We did, and that's why we proceeded to the Minister of Finance, and from the Minister of Finance it came to the committee. We wouldn't have come to the Parliament, the committee, through the Minister of Finance unless we had submitted the terms.
Honourable Chair, and say something on that.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want this House to believe that the committee is not rejecting the approval of USMID, the USMID project. But we are saying, let's give it a little bit of time. The board is sitting on the 4th of December to approve this concept. Once the concept has been approved, I'm sure that World Bank will give us the financing agreement upon which we shall be in position to compare the terms.
Yeah, but that means, honorable colleagues, that the whole loan, the whole batch, we cannot have it in full. Why? Last time I was here in Tennis Parliament, when we approved in half, and the World Bank rejected, we came back here to again correct. That's so if it is one package, under one motion. Honorable colleagues, let me make it very easy for you. Let's stand over this item today. I request the minister, please, I request the minister for finance, okay? Meet with the committee tomorrow early morning, and then tomorrow afternoon you come back here. We have already received the report. So that you remove these fears of as if we are hiding anything. If for example, colleagues, let's listen to one another. If conditions of USMID have been standard or through, okay? Submit them to the committee. Tomorrow morning, give the committee comfort, then the chair and the members can agree that we don't need to even sign another report. Chair concede on the floor, okay? And we sort out the matter. I don't want, okay? Let's do it that way. We'll have it sorted tomorrow. Honorable Mona Nusaf is safe. They don't have any.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I also want to not forget to congratulate you upon your very smooth and overwhelming support to the next Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for your guidance. First of all, it is important for all of us to appreciate, and I'm very happy that all of us from both sides of the divide appreciate that these loans are very important. And we also do not want to move in a way that is not correct. So I want to urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle that we take the advice of the Speaker, stay on this, then tomorrow morning consult and sort out this matter so that we have these loans passed. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. I've ruled on the matter. Honourable colleagues, please, let's go to item 7. Item 7.
Item 7 on the order paper. Motion for resolution of Parliament authorize government to borrow up to euro 9.4 million from UniCredit Bank, Austria, for the construction and equipping of Mbare Oncology Center, and US dollars 36.5 million from Islamic Development Bank for the construction of Arua Oncology Center and radiotherapy equipment for the Mbare Oncology Center.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to move that this House considers and authorizes government to borrow up to euro 9.4 million from UniCredit Bank, Australia, for the construction and equipping of Mbale Oncology Center, and USD 36.5 million from Islamic Development Bank for the construction of Arua Oncology Center and radiotherapy equipment for the Mbale Center. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. The motion seconded. I think Honorable Jonathan Odu should be the first one. Honorable Masawa, Utareja, I have Bonzo, I have Ekanya, Honorable Katumba, Honorable Kefa, Boka, Zigu, Abunji, Dr. Musa, Honorable Muhumza. Thank you. Honorable, do you want to speak to the motion?
Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, you recall in the last Parliament we borrowed money to finance the Cancer Institute at Mulago. And during that time we committed that we are going to equip different centers across the country to support this cause of fighting cancer. This particular loan is in line with what government committed then, and we are now considering different parts of the country, Mbale and Arua, and it's a loan, and these resources are being mobilized. We recommend this House to approve this important facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. With a major focus on recommendation.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The committee is ready to report. Allow me lay on table minutes of the Committee on National Economy considering this loan request. I beg to lay. Also allow me, Right Honourable Speaker, to lay on table the report of the committee. Allow me, Right Honourable Speaker, Uganda Cancer Institute is currently the main facility offering comprehensive cancer care services to the country. 45.9 million residents. Uganda Cancer Institute serves over 54,000 patients, consisting of both inpatients and outpatients. Limited availability of oncology services outside Kampala creates high patient congestion at Uganda Cancer Institute in Mulago, and as a result, many cancer cases are diagnosed at advanced stages due to limited early detection services, leading to poor treatment and outcomes and higher mortality rates. Right Honourable Speaker, in consistency of the project with the country's strategy, the project is consistent with Uganda Vision 2040, the National Development Plan NDP 4, and is a pipeline project in NDP 5 under the Human Development Program. The plan and Objective 3 of the Human Capital Development Program interventions focuses on reducing the burden of non-communicable diseases with a specific focus on cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and trauma and malnutrition across all groups. The government intends to establish centers of excellence in the provisions of oncology and endocrine and genetic disorders, cardiovascular and trauma services at national and regional levels, and foster regional integration, which these projects will directly contribute to. Right Honourable Speaker and members, the project is intended to improve quality of health care in Uganda by providing specialized diagnosis and treatment of cancer patients in eastern Uganda and West Nile through constructing and equipping oncology centers in Arua and Mbale districts. It aims at supporting the government of Uganda in alleviating the burden of cancer, which significantly impacts social well-being and economic productivity. Right Honourable Speaker, as we have mentioned, it will be in West Nile. There will be a center in West Nile, which is West Nile Regional Oncology and Diagnostic Center in Arua. Then Eastern Regional Oncology and Diagnostic Center in Mbale. That will be a radiotherapy unit. And the scope of the project, Honourable Speaker, are those two centers. The cost of financing, the total project cost is estimated to be US $55.45 million, with the funding from Islamic Development Bank worth USD 36.8 million. Unity Credit Bank, Austria is expected to provide USD 13.86 million, while Government of Uganda will contribute USD 4.79 million towards project financing as indicated below. The table is there, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues. The loan is semi-concessional since its grant element is 25.92%, which is lower than the concessional limit of 35%. In terms of economic returns, the project oncology services are recognized as one of the most cost-effective cancer treatment, particularly for common cancers. Early-stage cancers treated with radiotherapy can prevent the progression of the disease, thereby reducing the need for more expensive, complex, and resource-intensive treatments in future. This translates into substantial cost savings for both the healthcare systems and patients. A well-developed healthcare system is a powerful economic engine for any economy as it ensures a healthy and productive population, yielding a reduction in treatment costs and enabling national savings. In terms of budgetary implication, Right Honourable Speaker, the project forms part of the approved budget for financial year 2025-2026 under Vote 114, Uganda Cancer Institute. Specifically, the project coded 1806, establishment of regional oncology and diagnostic centers in Arua, Mbale, and Mbarara project, with an allocation of 30.7 billion and external financing. It is important to note that there is no clear commitment from the government of Uganda under this project for financial year 2025-26, as there is no amount of money set aside specifically for this project. Right Honorable Speaker, observations and recommendations. The committee was informed that Moni University in Arua and Mbale Regional Referral Hospital in Mbale had offered land to the Uganda Cancer Institute for purposes of this project. As such, Uganda Cancer Institute would not be acquiring land to accommodate the Arua and Mbale oncology centers. The committee observed that whereas Uganda Cancer Institute had been offered parcels of land for this project, the certificates of title did not reflect the change in ownership. The committee was concerned that the pending confirmation of and proof of ownership of the project land sites would lead to unnecessary project implementation delays. Recommendation: the committee recommends that government expedites the transfer of ownership of the offered land from both Moni University and Mbale Regional Referral Hospital to Uganda Cancer Institute for ownership and minimize project implementation drawbacks. 4.2, government counterpart funding. Government of Uganda is expected to contribute $4.79 million towards the total project cost. This contribution is to be applied to the project components relating to construction of Arua Oncology Center and Mbale Radiotherapy Unit, and towards project management. The committee observed in the budget for financial year 2025-26, the project is projected to be financed externally and no government of Uganda resources were approved for it. Additionally, the committee received no commitment by Minister of Finance that the expected funds from government of Uganda would be availed and project will not be affected by the lack of this counterpart funding. Recommendation: the committee recommends that government commits to avail counterpart funding and ensure that the project is implemented in timely manner to offer the much needed oncology services in these regions. Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, conclusion. Honorable Speaker and the colleagues, subject to the observations and recommendations presented above, the committee recommends that the proposal by government to borrow up to Euro 9.4 million from Unicredit Bank, Austria, for the construction and equipping Mbale Oncology Center, and USD $36.5 million from Islamic Development Bank for the construction of Arua Oncology Center and radiotherapy equipment for the Mbale Oncology Center be approved. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I beg to report.
Thank you. So, Honorable Semju, then Honorable Bikaros, then Dr. Didi.
Mr. Speaker, I saw colleagues here celebrating that World Bank is going to give us more money. If you look at the people who owe money, as at the time that we passed the budget, we were owing World Bank 18 trillion shilling, 18, followed by China at 9 trillion. And that's why the budget we passed here, 38% of the budget is debt servicing. Even when you look at the money so far released, the 2 quarters, 15 of the about 30-something trillion released so far is for debt servicing. That's why, Mr. Speaker, when we are considering budget, our plea to Parliament was, you were allowing government to present a 72 trillion budget, which means you are giving them permission in advance to borrow. The point I want to ask the ministers responsible, you presented a borrowing plan together with a budget that was approved. in which you said you will borrow 32 trillion shilling. So the question is both to the minister and the chairperson is whether these loans that you are presenting are part of the borrowing plan that was approved here. Because if they are, then this parliament has very little room. You've already allowed them that you will borrow 32 trillion to finance the budget. We then will be looking only at the conditions. Otherwise, we are doing the same work that we have done. So if the requirement is to look at the terms, we should restrict ourselves to that, because you already told the government, please go and borrow 32 trillion to go and finance the budget. And a borrowing plan was presented to Parliament and was approved. So the question for me is one, Mr. Speaker, and I want to re-emphasize, can the chairman and the minister tell us whether this money is part of that borrowing plan? Because in the past they have borrowed outside the budget, and then we utilize money that is not appropriated by Parliament. So they present a borrowing plan and the figures, and then go and borrow beyond what was approved at the budget process. I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Honourable Semuju, I can confirm to this House that this borrowing is part of the fiscal plan that we approved as Parliament, and also the projects that we are talking about, we are part of the pipeline projects that actually this Parliament said they were approved during the budgeting process. So we are not adding any to the approved budget.
Thank you. Honourable Chirumbi.
Now that the minister is moving in that direction, did I hear properly the chairman of the committee saying that government could not provide proof of counterpart funding? Now, if it's part of what is in the budget, then there cannot be lack of proof of counterpart funding. Now, if that, and that's what the report said. Now, if the minister is taking that line, then the committee is, I don't understand what then the committee is saying. So my simple understanding is that those don't add up.
Let's hear from the chair of the committee on that line.
Chair, Right Honourable Speaker, I was very clear. We normally, when we are processing the loans, there are two ways of establishing availability of counterpart funding. One, either it must be budgeted for. So on that ground, the counterpart fund wasn't budgeted for. And two, we normally ask for commitment in writing from Minister of Finance that they will provide for, or they have provided for it. So this commitment was not provided by Minister of Finance.
Thank you.
That's why we are recommending, otherwise we wouldn't.
That's why, Right Honourable Speaker, the argument of Honourable Semuju and Honourable Bahati and the report of the committee simply fails this borrowing.
Thank you.
Simply fails this borrowing because on page 3, Right Honourable Speaker, on page 3 of their committee, they have put up projects under the same docket and on how they are performing. There are quite a number. Some projects are taking 12 years, so many years, without being implemented. Reason is you borrow without counterpart funding. Now, the submission of the chairman of the committee's chairperson of the committee, Honourable Bahati, and Honourable Bahati simply ties this parliament not to take this decision.
But Honourable colleagues, let's not try to behave as if we've not been here for long. Okay? We have been here. Honourable Chivumbi, there are projects which I found which you had approved in your 9th parliament. Up to now, counterpart funding has never been provided. We've been fighting. Okay? That doesn't mean you stop projects. That's why we, in fact, in 10th parliament, when I was on the national economy, that's why we had pushed. If they had to borrow something, they should borrow 100%. So that the projects move. But sometimes, projects that don't need, for example, compensation, you find they are found along the way. Honorable Migade, on this,
Yes.
because you see, honorable colleagues, I don't want to technically shoot down such a project based on our technicalities which we are trying to bring here. Honorable Migade, counterpart funding is supposed to cover what?
Right, Honorable Speaker.
On this project, yeah.
Right, Honorable Speaker, you're right, and many times we have mentioned these challenges, and on the other note, I want to note that also among the requests we have, government is moving towards also catering for counterpart funding as part of the cost for borrowing some of the loan requests we have. So probably when it comes to the new loans, we may not have a backlog of more counterpart funding which are not really budgeted for. But for this, it's not the case.
So honorable colleagues, if I may ask, can we note it here? Because you see, we are the ones who have been talking about issues of cancer. Our patients everywhere dying. Now, even if you do this project, you can't say implementation will start, okay, in 2 or 3, 4 months. We can also agree here that as a must in the next budgeting cycle, we provide counterpart funding for this project. Because we are the ones here who have been talking about cancer. I don't know, but the decision is yours.
But Mr.
as
Speaker,
colleagues.
Mr.
Please,
Speaker.
no, honorable colleagues, don't access a microphone without my permission. Honorable Bigaros.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I arrived in Kampala yesterday, Monday. On Friday and Thursday, I was in Arua Referral Hospital. It seems the disease tone has moved from other diseases to cancer. And mentioning Arua Referral Hospital, we cover a very big number, a very big area. We are 43 members of parliament from Western Island. That is our biggest referral hospital. Just as you have said, we're not starting implementation tomorrow. When we were here debating about cancer becoming a scourge and its increase in Mulago Hospital, we approved funding here. We wouldn't want to feel that you are doing this because Arua has been mentioned. And I wouldn't want people who are behaving like advocates of the devil, because we are the ones who appropriate. What is difficult with us approving funding in the next financial year as the counter government contribution? So for me, I'm saying this, Right Honorable Speaker, if we want to shoot down any funding, it shouldn't be funding or borrowing towards cancer. And I beg we accept this. We shall look for the counter funding. Thank you.
Honorable Du? Yes, Honorable Bahati wanted to make a clarification.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted this matter we are discussing. We know how much we are suffering because of this issue of cancer. And on behalf of government, we are talking about $4.5 million US. We do commit that we will find counterpart funding for this project.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Masaba. That settles the matter.
Yes, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And to confirm, I remember I was part of the budget committee, and this was one of the items we did discuss with the ED of the Cancer Institute, and we did pass it in the budget that we did pass. So I'm kindly requesting that the honorable members join hands and we support in the construction and equipping of these cancer institutes, because one of the challenges that we're having is many of our people. Yes, Honorable Mwanga wants to put me on order, but I request that he allows me conclude as a colleague. He knows I've been one of those who have been fighting some of these very, very funny loans, very many of the loans that government does bring, because we borrow to consume. But this is a project, a development project, that is going to benefit millions and millions of people.
Thank you, Honorable Masaba.
Right Honorable Mbale Regional Referral Hospital is actually serving the entire Eastern. When you look at the report, it's going to be an oncology center treating in the entire Eastern region, not only in Mbale. So I think we need to join hands and support the construction and equipping of this.
Honourable colleagues, I put the question that the motion for the resolution of Parliament authorize government to borrow up to euro 9.4 million from Unicredit Bank Austria for the construction and equipping of Mbare Oncology Center and USD 36.5 million from Islamic Development Bank for the construction of Arua Oncology Center and radiotherapy equipment for the Mbare Oncology Center be approved by this House. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. So, clerk, please extract this resolution and communicate it to the... Yes, Honorable Kanya, I wanted to...
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I really want to seek clarification. I support this facility. We need to approve the loan.
Honorable, you're reopening
I'm not
matter.
going back. It is a policy issue, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the government of Uganda signed a development financing agreement with the donors. And the commitment was, and that's part of the position government took to go RAPEX, that all borrowing and financing of government of Uganda will be budget support to avoid project which leads to duplication, lack of use of country system, a lack of use of country institutions. I'm seeking clarification. When did the government shift from budget support to project, and yet we even have gone ahead to implement RAPEX?
Thank you. Clerk, extract that, pass it on to the Minister for Finance tomorrow to respond. Thank you. Item number 6.
Item number 6 on the order paper. Motion for a resolution of Parliament authorize government to borrow up to euros 118.18 million, equivalent to units of account 150 million from the African Development Bank, and euro 28.31 million, equivalent units of account 22.57 million from the African Development Fund as additional financing for the construction of Busega Mpigi Expressway project.
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move a motion for the resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to euro 188.18 million, equivalent to UA 150 million from the African Development Bank, and euros 28.31 million, equivalent to units of accounts 22.57 million from the African Development Bank Fund as additional financing for the construction of Busega Mpigi Express project. I beg to move.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Yeah. Seconded by Honorable Semuju. Honorable Katumba, Obiga Rose, Efa, Honorable Nayebari, Honorable Alejo, Honorable Mara, Honorable Ramirama, Naje, Honorable Mona. Thank you. Can I request Honorable Katumba to be the one to speak to this, just a little, in a minute, why we need this?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I support that motion because this is a very critical road. If any of you have moves from Masaka, Mbarara and reaches Chengera or Mpigi at 5, you can spend 1 hour to, 1 hour to come
and
from
Butambara sometimes when you're
Yes.
coming from Butambara.
From Mbarara to Kampala or from Masaka to Kampala, you spend 1 hour to reach Mpigi, and you spend 3 hours to leave Mpigi to reach Chengera. The solution is to have this road network completed, and then we shall have easy movement. This road does not only support that kind of movement, it supports trade. It's part of the northern corridor, which where we are working with Rwanda and Kenya on the northern corridor to support our trade. So, Right Honourable Speaker and members, I highly appeal to you that we pass and we complete this project. It has been long overdue. I found it in when we took over UNRWA, but it's now time we finish it.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, please just go to the terms and conditions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to round table.
I will allow you, Honorable, when we open up.
Honorable Speaker, I want to round table the minutes of the committee in consideration of this request. Also want to round table the report of the Committee on National Economy in considering this. And as stated earlier, this is a report of the Committee on National Economy on the proposal by government to borrow up to euros 188,180,000 equivalent to UAE 150 million from the African Development Bank, ADB, and euro 28.314516 equivalent to UAE 22,570,000 from the African Development Bank as an additional financing for the construction of Busega and PG Expressway. Honorable Speaker, the committee took a field visit to look at some of the scope of works covered so far. And Honorable Speaker, if I go to as guided, let me go to observations as guided. Honorable Speaker, under observations, uh, 6.1, that's page 35, colleagues, and 6.1, significant cost escalation and payment of shortfall on Busega and PG Expressway. The committee noted that the Ministry of Works and Transport engaged the contractor, MS China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, in a joint venture with China Railway 19th Bureau Group, Uganda Limited, for the Busega PG Expressway project at an original cost of 547.5 billion under procurement reference number. The number is there, without adequate detailed designs to justify the engineer's initial cost. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a contract which was awarded before the final designs. The designs were later submitted in November 2021, which ultimately resulted in a significant project estimated cost escalation. As you can see, 1.3 trillion as of March 2023. In addition, the original project route alignment was realigned as the additional work items were considered integral to the functionality of the expressway as a toll road, resulting in an increased project scope of works. These additional items included toll plazas, interchanges, service roads, and link roads. These gaps highlight potential inadequacies in technical preparation, increasing the risk of litigation since the contractor had commenced work based on revised higher cost designs and without the project route realignment. The project audit of financial year 30th June 2024 by the Office of the Auditor noted the following. Procurement of civil works contractor took over 3 years to conclude. As of May 2024, the available funds for civil works under the original contract, excluding any dispersed retention of Uganda shillings 46.4 billion, were fully exhausted with physical progress at only 40.86%. By the end of June 2024, certified works valued at Uganda shilling 30 billion had been completed by the contractor, yet no supplementary funding had been secured, risking delayed prepayments and potential legal claims from the contractor. As of July 2024, physical progress had only reached 42.28%, falling short of the projected 52.30%, with the revised project completion date extended to 3rd September 2027. The total cumulative disbursement of project funds as at 30th June 2024 against the project financing agreements were less than expected as per the project financing agreement. As a result of the undisbursed funds, government had incurred commitment fees amounting to $1.548,730.68 million on undisbursed borrowed funds since the date of project effectiveness. The committee recommends the following. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development should engage the African Development Bank to establish a framework for timely fund disbursement that supports the project timeline and minimize undisbursed balances, not specifically for this project, but also others. The Ministry of Works and Transport should always liaise with the relevant stakeholders to ensure that there are no unnecessary delays in the procurement processes of future projects in the works and transport sector. The Ministry of Works and Transport must ensure that all project designs are finalized before loan parliamentary approval and to prevent further design modifications and cost escalations. The Honorable Speaker, like your members heard, the final design came 3 years later when the contractor was on site. The Ministry of Works and Transport should develop and institutionalize a policy for design of roads and other transport infrastructure to avert future variations in project costs on account of weaknesses in designs. The policy should clearly prescribe the processes, approval levels, and compliance requirements for transport infrastructure to increase accountability and design processes. The Ministry of Works and Transport should consider designating the engineer-in-chief as the final design owner. 6.2, Government Counterpart Funding. The committee noted that Section 4.06 of the draft loan agreements between the Republic of Uganda, the African Development Bank, and the African Development Bank Fund of the African Development Bank Group, respectively, requires government to make available over a period of 3 years an amount totaling to euros 30.980 million or its equivalent in local currency as its counterpart contribution. Inadequate provision of counterpart funding adversely affects the project implementation. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and the Ministry of Works and Transport should ensure that adequate counterpart funds for this project are provided in an annual budget of the Ministry of Works and Transport during the implementation of this project to expedite and project's implementation process and achieve desired development impact. 6.3, compensation of project affected persons. The committee noted that the Pusega and PG Expressway project previously had 2,885 approved project affected persons. Following the increase in the scope due to the realignment of the project route, the number of approved persons, affected persons increased by 46% to 4,222 people. And that's and the area in concern, that's 591.738 acres, valued at 167,782,482,641. Out of the 4,222 approved project affected persons, 61%, which is 2,585, have been paid. That is an area which is 497.94 acres acquired, valued at Uganda shillings 111,747,205,864, leaving a total of 1,637 unpaid PAPs, valued at Uganda shillings 56 billion, 35,276,777 shillings. According to Section 4.03b of the draft loan agreements between the Republic of Uganda and the African Development Bank and the African Development Fund of the African Development Bank Group, respectively, government shall not and shall cause the Ministry of Works and Transport, all its contractors, its subcontractors, and agents to commence implementation of any works on any section of a given lot under the project, unless all PAPs in such section have been compensated or resettled in accordance with the site-specific RAP and all agreed works and compensation schedule. The committee recommends the following. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development should prioritize availing the Uganda shillings 56 billion 35 million 276,777 shillings to the Ministry of Works and Transport to complete the compensation of PAPs for the Busega PG Express project and guarantee the timely completion of this project. 2. The Ministry of Works, Transport should ensure the contractor prioritizes works in the unencumbered sections and mitigate delays. The Ministry of Works and Transport should prioritize compensation of PAPs within the encumbered sections to ensure that the contractor's progress stock productivity is not disrupted. The Ministry of Works and Transport should engage PAPs with disputes to ensure that they resolve the issues to enable their compensation proceed. The Ministry of Works and Transport should engage the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs to simplify the process of depositing PAP compensation with the courts of law for PAPs whose family disputes and court cases might delay raw acquisitions. 6.4, development of intermodal and seamless transport infrastructure to ensure integrated movement of people and goods. The committee noted that government has been slow in undertaking strategic interventions in the transport network that further enhance an integrated and seamless movement of people and goods to harness the exploitation of opportunities, increase exports, and open up export opportunities in new markets. These strategic investments in transport sector will contribute towards lowering the cost and increasing efficiency of the country's connections to regional and global markets, as well as increasing interconnectivity within the country. The committee recommends the following. The Ministry of Works and Transport must ensure that this project is harmonized with other intermodal transport infrastructure within the same region, notably the proposed standard gauge railway, that's the Western Route, among others. 2. The Ministry of Works and Transport should expedite the upgrading of all pending urban infrastructure in the greater Kampala metropolitan area to reduce traffic congestion and its cost to the economy. 3. The Ministry of Works and Transport should expedite the completion of the Express Development Master Plan to ensure an orderly and coordinated approach to developing express ways in Uganda. Conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and members. This is a snake in a pot, like one may say. The construction of the Busega Mpigi Express project is critical for national development and is in line with Vision 2040. The National Transport Master Plan, the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Transport Plan, and the Kampala Physical Development Plan. It is a prerequisite for regional integration and interconnectivity. It is therefore urgent and important to ensure additional financing required for completion of the project. In light of its strategic importance, the committee emphasizes the urgency of securing additional financing required for the completion of the project. Accordingly, the committee recommends that the government is requested to borrow up to €188,188,000, equivalent to UA 150 million from the African Development Bank and €28,313,513 euros, equivalent to UA 22,570,000 from the African Development Fund as additional financing for the construction of Busega and PG Express project to be approved by this House, subject to the above recommendations. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I beg to report.
Thank you, Chair.
Right Honorable Speaker, we also have a minority by colleagues, which is in our rules of procedure, but I'm sure what they are raising has also been captured by the committee, but the minority is here. I learned.
Thank you. Honorable Tebandeke, just use 5 minutes, we conclude this.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it is to my dismay that wherever we present minority reports are not uploaded in time, and it is...
But Honorable, your report is uploaded. Okay.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I was saying
so present the report, stop quarreling. Just go on the report.
Minority report on the Committee of National Economy on the proposal by government to borrow up to euro 188,180, equivalent to UA $150 million from the African Development Bank, ADB, and UA 225,700, equivalent to euro 28,314,516 from the African Development Bank Fund, ADF, as additional financing for the construction of Busega and PG Express Highway, moved under Rule 115 of our Rules of Procedure. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to introduce minority report to this August House. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we do support the construction of Busega and PG Express Highway project, given its crucial nature for national development as per the country's Vision 2040, the National Transport Master Plan, the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Transport Plan, and the Kampala Physical Development Plan. It is a wise and an urgent to secure additional financing requirements for the completion of the project. However, Right Honorable Speaker, while scrutinizing this loan request in the committee, there are gaps for the August House's attention before committing the taxpayers and our children's children to this loan, given the increasing country debt to GDP ratio, quoted as nearly to 52%. We therefore dissent from the majority report for two reasons, Right Honorable Speaker. One, non-compliance with the parliamentary rules of procedure. Two, recommendations in the Auditor General's report 2024 on the project. Right Honorable Speaker, on non-compliance with the parliamentary rules of procedure, under Rule 162 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, explicitly mandates a dual committee framework, i.e., the involvement of the sector committee under which a loan request falls. For this particular request, Right Honorable Speaker, under Rule 162.2, the Speaker was required to refer request to both Committee on National Economy and the relevant sector committee of physical infrastructure. While the committee was scrutinizing the request, there was no input from the Committee on Physical Infrastructure, Right Honorable Speaker. This violates Rule 162.3, which requires a report first from the Committee of Physical Infrastructure to report on issues, for example, the land issues as highlighted in the Auditor General's report, before the Committee of the National Economy reports to this House. This invalidates any approval of this particular request as exposes Parliament to legal redress. Right Honorable Speaker, issues identified in the Auditor General's report 2024 are here precisely explained. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the 23.7 kilometer MPG project, which became effective in 2017 March, which with the civil works starting in November 2019 had an original cost of 547.5 billion. And as of June 2024, the physical progress had reached only 40.86% against the target of 52.3%, which led to completion date being extended to September 2027. The Auditor General's report highlighted some planning deficits that includes: 1, the contract was awarded without detailed engineering design, leading to major revision submitted in November 2021. This resulted into cost escalation of 1.3 trillion by March 2023, increasing litigation risks as the contractor began work based on high cost revision. Additionally, Right Honorable Speaker, the lack of contract design drove a 500% increase from the initial cost, highlighting poor project preparations and the coordination between the Ministry of Works and the Transport and the Ministry of Finance. Funds under the original contract have been exhausted at just 40 to 42% completion, leaving pending payments and unsatisfied works. Cost escalation resulting from the design revision require additional resources to prevent contractor default, interest penalties, and further delays. The above issues highlighted, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, is a larger systematic problem in Uganda's infrastructure project. Such inadequacies in the initial planning and future funding shortages affects the entire project, and hence a problem to when we borrow money without critical analysis. Right Honorable Speaker, out of 2,885 project affected persons, PAPs, only 1,358 had been compensated. 68.6 billion paid only 48%, leaving out 1,527, that is about 52%, unpaid. 50.9 billion outstanding, citing issues of insufficient budget release from the Ministry of Finance, family disputes, and the court cases directly stalls the construction. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this is a clear violation of Article 26B(1) of our Constitution, which we took oath to protect and defend, which mandates prompt payments of fair and adequate compensation before taking or acquisition of property. Regarding this project, Right Honorable Speaker, one might ask, if valuations were done years ago, how will these people be properly compensated now? Can't the government do re-evaluation? How can the government occupy land without first compensating the owner as the law mandates? Additionally, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, while the committee was visiting the field, personally I visited and observed. The biggest portion of the project lies within the swamp, and the number of the public affected persons is bigger, raising assumptions whether there was exaggeration of the number for the PAPs, and the details of the PAPs to be compensated and those that were compensated was not revealed to the committee, Right Honorable Speaker. This opens floodgates for corruption, embezzlement, and swindling of government fund. I would request this Parliament to stand on this loan on the following grounds. 1, the Chief Government Valuer does a fresh valuation for all the PAPs and ascertain the current costs and adds interest for the delayed compensation, Right Honorable Speaker. Point 2, on why this loan should be stood on, the Ministry of Finance first tracked the release of the 50.9 billion before any new work resumes, as on this project, as reported by the Auditor General's report. Right Honorable Speaker, while we were getting briefs from the Ministry of Work, the Ministry of Works, the old design of the same project was supposed to begin.
Honorable, at this level, you read a report. You don't start debating, adding things. You have a signed report. Kind of read the report.
Right, Honorable Speaker, allow me go by that. Yeah. Right, Honorable Speaker, the earlier project was supposed to begin from Vosega, and those kilometers were not considered. And
Honorable, please listen to the guidance of the presiding officer. Okay? You have a written report signed by 2 people. Anything you're adding has no approval of your colleague who signed. So I'm reading your report and I'm moving with you. Okay? So we're on the last page. Read what is in the report, what your colleague signed. Now, if you add on things which he doesn't agree with and he disowns you, what would you do?
So much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. Allow me conclude. We do request that Uganda's public debt, already over 50% of GDP, not be increased further, as additional loan could strain fiscal space amidst global interest rate that hikes the debt burden. Borrowing more for a delayed project raises commitment fee and interest costs, diverting fund from essential services such as the country's dilapidated healthcare system, among others. Similar projects like the Kampala-Jinja Express Highway experience similar delays, showing a pattern of relying too much on loans without making necessary reforms. Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, approving this loan without following the Auditor General's report could lead to more mistakes in the future. Here signed by I, myself, and Honorable Lukalide Hassan, the MP, Katikamu South. I beg to submit. Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable colleague. Honorable Minister, would you want to clarify on... Yes, Honorable Chivumbi.
Right Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, I'm very sensitive on this road. It's my road, so it's near everywhere, including you. Right Honorable, and the Minister is right. Normally on a Sunday, if I'm to travel from Butambala, I have to delay and leave at midnight, because that's when I would be able to reach Kampala within the show. So I'm highly, but Honorable Minister, there are critical concerns. Right Honorable Speaker, I've looked at the unit cost of this road. If you are going to construct 23 kilometers, I know. The original kilometers were 23. Then they went to 27. Now, if you are going to construct 23 originally, by this cost, each kilometer was going to cost 53 billion per unit cost. Now, if you are to go for the 27, it will cost 45 billion per unit cost. Now, when you studied the standard unit cost of constructing a bitumen grade 1 road across Africa, you are hovering over 2 to 3 million US dollars. Now, this is 14 million US dollars, way above what ordinarily passes. So what justification does government have to construct a kilometer of bitumen, whatever grade, at 14 million US dollars, over and above the normal average African cost of 3. This would be more expensive than Entebbe Expressway at this rate. 2, who is this planner that planned to spend 527 billion and ends up spending 1.2 on a project over and above what ordinarily passes? So what kind of planning went into this? Right Honorable Speaker, let's score this ministry. The committee has done a good job. Whatever I'm reading is in the committee report. On page 10 and page 11, they've given us a number of projects where we have approved the funds under this ministry. And on page 11, if you have a heart, you can breed. Will you borrow? I will just mention a few. You borrowed in 2023, 295, I think these are $1 million. 2023, you haven't spent a penny. This is on page 11. Under the road called Upgrading National Roads Project, 295 billion. Dispatchment is 0. You haven't spent a penny as per. It's on page 11 of the report. Right Honorable Speaker, they borrow 108. They spend 0. It is here. Right Honorable Speaker, you read these zeros on page 11 where they've borrowed money and done nothing. And even under this project of Mpiji Express, Honorable Minister, you are my good friend, 113 billion. We've borrowed, we paid a commitment fee of $1.5 million on monies, and it's non-performing. And here you are coming to this parliament to give you an additional borrowing, stampeding us at this moment. With this rate of performance, how safe are we that this is not a ghost project that is going to take money, more and more and more money? What assurances can he give us that with this borrowing, this project too, the project is abandoned as we speak now? As we speak now, this project is not a going concern. The contract abandoned is there, nothing is going on, but we are approving additional borrowing at abnormal unit cost for whatever justification. So, Right Honorable Speaker, this is the road that takes me home, that will take me even if I'm dead. I needed it the other day, but at this rate, this parliament should move with a lot of caution and a lot of assurance from my friend, General Katumba Wamala. Generals execute missions precisely because any mistake leads to death. But this one, I don't know how it skips the eye of a 5-star general and is on his watch. That Honorable Minister, Speaker, we must treat this project as a case study of a failed project for which we are borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing to no end.
But Honorable, you've said you need assurances. Let him give you assurances before you conclude.
Yes, as I conclude, I want to question this parliament. And that's why for me I never borrowed the sentiments of colleagues here. Cancer, where people who are dying and we approve abnormal things. And Right Honorable Speaker, I audited the projects in Uganda, presented here to Parliament. The unity cost was a concern, consultancy fees were a concern, completion dates were a concern. None of the projects in Uganda is on schedule with all expertise. So this is the case study where we need to arrest a ministry. Right Honorable Speaker, they have borrowed 4.8 trillion. Look at that page, at the conclusion here of page 13. They have borrowed under the ministry 4.8 trillion. They have utilized 2 trillion. They have unutilized money borrowed 2.7 trillion. It is performing at 40%. So, General here has a case to answer before Ugandans why we should give him money, even if it's a project that takes me home.
Thank you. So now, colleagues, before I allow anything, I want to first call General, because they've said he has a case to answer. Yeah. Honorable Assembly, you wanted to add something before General answers, or you want to wait here?
Mr. Speaker, I use Masaka Road regularly. And I am concerned that the Mpiji Expressway has delayed. It's a nightmare. And I will do anything to facilitate the completion of that road. I will do anything. We will no longer go to visit our parents. You lose a whole day traveling a stretch of just about 7 kilometers. The issues both in the main report and minority report, they are almost the same, raising concerns that are also generally captured in the report on loans and grants. They are actually not limited to this particular project. Because they are general, I want to particularize my issues on this particular road. And I don't want to use the failures in other projects to delay this even 1 minute. That's why I stood up. I usually don't support loans because of the... So this particular one, so I think all we need is for government to commit. And the rest we can do investigations. If there are people who have exaggerated, we punish them. If there are people who, but also issues of construction, I'm not an engineer, and the only Mwanga Chivumbi is a witness. The road between Seta, Kasangati, it was meant to be a smaller road, but along the way, and I want to thank the UNRWA at that time, they said it will be difficult to return and do compensation when people have put skyscrapers. So along the way, they changed the design to expand. Between, if you look between Charuajala and Chira where they have done, I am very happy that the expansion happened at once. So that's what we want to hear from you, that you are not increasing the funding for the same narrow design. So if it has expanded. The minority report has a bit of a contradiction. So you want rates for compensation to be revised, but you don't want prices to escalate. I don't know how that will be achieved. Because you are saying the compensation, this is one other area where I have a problem with many colleagues here. One time we went to Bunyoro, there were supposed to be roads for oil and electricity. And the colleagues on the committee were the ones inciting people about compensation. Part of the problem we have in that sector is that, because look, you're going to spend 160 billion compensation. And we have established a very bad culture. The Honorable Katumba Wamala knows, in our area where he also lives, we have asked people to give land because they are the beneficiary of these projects. So I don't want to support any argument here asking people to demand for more compensation. At least count me out of that. Instead, I will ask people to give land for road construction. They are the beneficiary. So I don't want to incite them to begin demanding for more compensation. And all of you colleagues, wherever you come from, ask people to learn. I mean, why should we 167 billion compensation for a road that all of us are going to utilize that is going to increase the value of their property within the area? Maybe when this government that doesn't speak very well goes, we will go and speak to people to give land. Otherwise, we cannot continue. So the amount of money you require to compensate is what you also require to construct a road. So I want to ask, I'm sorry if I have taken, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask government to commit that the issues in the main report and in the minority report and what the Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi raised, we can list them and a commitment is made that they will be handled.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, I know this road very well because I was on the Committee of National Economy when we passed it. And really, I was also concerned on the issue of the cost to the extent that I said, no, I should even go and make a tour to see the progress of the works. And General, you can have a seat for a minute. And because you see, number one, that road is in a swamp. So I asked a question. I said, when you appeared before the Committee of National Economy, Honorable Migade, it was around 2016, around 2016-17. You said you are going to use columns. Okay? But now you are using, Honorable Bariko was with us, now you're fearing. You're fearing because it was around 14 kilometers of swamp. So which we had said they will go over, because the cost of compensating, and because it's a toll road, the issue was we should maintain the other road. So we asked all these questions, but now recently when I asked, I was told the cost of doing quorums is ×3 the cost of backfilling. I said, so you mean these things change? But then the design is, and then, Honorable Minister, another thing we talked about, which I really want you to commit on, Honorable colleagues, which must be clear. We agreed that that road must feed into Kampala Entebbe Expressway. So that when you come from that road, you don't just come and first rotate again the other side. You should feed in. Then there was also another one from Ndeba planned. Then this one of Mitiana. And we said it should be done in a way that they all feed into each other, and the bypass. But I'm told, even with this one, it does not feed in. So I need really to that one to be also assured on this road. Very many issues, but it's a very critical road.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you, and I want to thank the members. And I hope that Honorable Semuju's intervention has been properly captured, because I think 90% of what I would say, Honorable Semuju has said it. But let me just respond to a few things. One is that originally the road did not have auxiliary roads. Now we have auxiliary roads, including some of the roads joining Mitiana Road, joining Kasanji side. So those auxiliary roads have added on to the kilometers. Secondly, because of the realignment of the road, the bridges which have been included are quite many. I think the committee visited and they saw this. And that takes a lot of earthworks and a lot of other engineering responsibilities. So all these added costs, and I totally agree with the Honourable Speaker, the filling a swamp is highly costly, because when you see the amount of hardcore which they are using, which have been used to fill that road, it's a highly costly. It must be. But when you inherit, you take assets and liabilities, and this is one of the liabilities I took over as I took over UNRWA. But I want to give put on floor that we commit to address all the issues which have been raised, both in the minority report and also the main report. But I also want to assure Parliament that this is going to be a toll road, so we'll be able to recover the money over time. It's not just a free road like any other. It's going to be a toll road, and also among the costs are the toll gates, because originally it didn't have toll gates. Now we have 4 toll gates which have been included, and the construction of those toll gates are part of the cost. The interchange, Right Honourable Speaker, is part of the borrowing, is part of this money we are borrowing. It's a very complex interchange which will be around Chengera, to be able to get all these other connections linked together. The Entebbe Expressway, the Mitiana, the main Busega, the main road from the Northern Bypass. If some of you have traveled on the Northern Bypass while you are going to Entebbe, you can even miss your flight because of the problems there, especially as you enter into Busega. So all this will be treated by the interchange which is coming, and it's part of the borrowing, Right Honourable Speaker. So we have addressed those, and that will be able to unlock the gridlock at that is. Thank you very much.
So now, colleagues, I now put the question that the motion for a resolution of Parliament authorizes government to borrow up to euro 188.18 million, equivalent UA 150 million from the African Development Bank, and euro 28.31 million, equivalent UA 22.57 million from the African Development Fund as additional financing for the construction of Busega and PG Expressway be approved by this House. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Next.
Item 8 on the order paper. Motion for resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to United States dollars 20 million from the Arab Bank for Development in Africa for the upgrading of Nebi Goli Road, 16 kilometers.
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the motion for a resolution of Parliament considers the motion for a resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to United States 20 million US dollars from the Arab Bank for Development in Africa, BADEA, for the upgrading of Nebi Goli Road. They are 16 kilometers, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? By Honorable Chivumbi, Honorable Ngise, Honorable Katumba, Honorable Mona, Honorable Remucha, Dr. Musa, Honorable Florence Akiki, Honorable Chebonge, Honorable Nyongoe, Honorable Obigaros, James, Honorable Ramirama, Honorable Okasa, Honorable Mugasa, Honorable Aregi, Honorable Judy Sajek, Honorable Ayotoni, Honorable Christine. Yes. Honorable Minister, would you want to just comment?
Right Honorable Speaker and members, this is an 18-kilometer road from Nebi to Goli, and Goli is the border, our border with DRC. It's one of the main trunk and highly trafficked road in terms of trade. This road, we already have the money for the compensation, which is about 3 billion. So once we get this money, we'll be ready to start the road. It's a very critical road for trade in that belt of the country. So I request that members highly consider this request for that road. And that will be giving us a very big breakthrough in terms of accessibility to DRC through Mahagi, as we are now accessing them through other areas like Mpondwe and in Toroko and other areas. I submit.
It's like a small town. A small one. But it is.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, just do a quick summary.
Thank
colleagues, I don't want it to be an afternoon of borrowing. We can borrow again tomorrow.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay the report of the Committee on National Economy on the proposal by government to borrow up to US dollars 20 million from the Arab Bank for Development in Africa, BADEA, for the upgrade of Nebi Goli Road, 16 kilometers, and the minutes of the committee. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister has already given a preamble to this road, and I would go straight to the terms and conditions of the loan. Right Honourable Speaker, the loan has about 7 components. Component number 1 is civil works. Component number 2, civil works will take about 16 million US dollars. Consultants will take 1.4 million US dollars. Land acquisition, that will be by government of Uganda. Government of Uganda will give 2.4 million US dollars. And then audit will be 0.5 from government of Uganda. And then project launch, workshops, and the mid-term review workshop is 0.05 US dollars. And then the project implementation unit support will be 0.14 million US dollars. The contingency takes 2.41 million US dollars, totaling to 20 million US dollars. The loan amount is 20 million. The maturity period is 20 years, including a grace period of 5 years. The interest rate
is 2.5% per annum on the principal amount of the loan withdrawn and outstanding from the time to time. Right Honorable Speaker, the concessionality of this loan is that the nominal value of the loan is $20 million US. The present value of the loan at 5% discount rate is 14.47 million US dollars, equivalent to 52.1 billion Uganda shillings. The total debt service for the loan is 25.28 million, equivalent to 91.02 billion, and the grant element is only 28%. Having in mind that the grant element is 28%, it is lower than the concessional threshold of 35%, taking it to be a semi-concessional loan. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me go to the committee observations and recommendations. The project design and review. The committee observed that component 2 of this project will entail procuring and commissioning a consultancy firm to undertake the detailed design review and supervision of the physical implementation of the civil works. The consultant will ensure high standards of construction, compliance, and established road safety standards, specifications with specific emphasis on road safety, drainage, climate risks, and environmental mitigation measures. The supervision will include all the tasks needed to ensure that all technical specifications are met during the construction phase and close monitoring of the contractor for any deviations from the specifications consigned in the contract. The committee noted with concern that recently Parliament approved an additional funding for the Busega-Mpigi Express Highway that arose from the detailed design review that increased the project cost by 124%. There is need for a detailed design of government projects to be finalized and ready prior to obtaining the financing, as this will facilitate realistic project costs. The committee recommends that detailed project designs of government projects should always be updated and ready before securing a loan funding to avoid requests for additional funding in case the revised designs reveal so. The government counterpart funding. The government of Uganda is expected to contribute $3 million US, and the minister has already told us that the money is available for that, for the counterpart funding. On feasibility study, the committee was informed that the road is to be upgraded from the existing Class B gravel road to Class 2 paved standard with a designed life of 20 years. The committee noted that this financing was sourced based on the feasibility study completed in 2015, that is 10 years ago. The committee observed that whereas a design review is proposed as part of the scope of the activities on account of the traffic growth in the period, the road may require to be designed to a high class, necessitating additional funding to implement the high class road. This should be adequately catered for before signing the financing agreement. The committee recommends that an updated feasibility study be developed to cater for design and other project changes that may be relevant to the efficient usage of the proposed road asset. This will minimize the unnecessary project implementation delays and costs that may arise after finalizing the financing agreement. Intermodal transport harmonization. The committee observed that there is need to observe harmony with the proposed standard gauge railway alignment. Goli border point is proposed as a terminal or a crossing point for the standard gauge railway. Northern Route Project, Tororo, Gulu, Pakwach, Goli. The committee noted that the cabinet memo and the feasibility study make no mention of any harmonization of this project with the standard gauge railway. Yet both projects are under the ITIS program. The committee recommends that the ITIS program should accord sufficient consideration to the synchronization of this project with the SGR and provide for the SGR terminal point while designing this project. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, subject to the observations and recommendations presented above, the committee recommends that the proposal by government to borrow up to $20 million from the Arab Bank for Development in Africa, BADEA, for the upgrade of Nebi Goli Road, 16 kilometers, be approved. Right Honorable members, I beg to report.
Thank you. Honorable Mona.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much, honorable colleagues. I want to thank the committee for this report. Mr. Speaker, this road is a short but very important road. The Goli-Nebi Road, apart from improving export to the DRC, has been in very, very bad state that we have witnessed very many road traffic accidents. In fact, there was a point where almost every week you would have a truck overturned. But because of the high value of the market there, as one truck is being lifted, another one will be attempting to make the same risk. So this shows you how important this road is. As we stand now, DRC alone is a market of about $981 million to Uganda. Much more, it has actually overpassed our exports to South Sudan. So I really think that with investment in this road, our export to DRC, earning us foreign exchange will improve, and I want to implore both sides of the House to support this loan.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I put the question that the motion for a resolution of Parliament authorize government to borrow up to United States $20 million from the Arab Bank for Development in Africa, BADEA, the upgrading of Nebi Gori Road, 16 kilometers, be approved by this House. Those in favor say unto the contrary. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, House adjourned to tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thank you.